Hi everyone. Welcome to Marianne's Mystic Dimensions with me, Marianne. Welcome to your June readings and welcome to the featured sign for today. I read for every single sign in the zodiac. I read a reading a day, sometimes a little longer depending on what's happening in the planetary energies and, for example, retrogrades or not. And today I'm reading for the beautiful air element Venus ruled sign of Libra. Libra. Libra, you have some pretty powerful energies happening for you, and they're going to be like that for the remainder of this year and on through next year. And I'll explain why, but I'd like to talk a little bit more about you and what I believe about your personality traits that I've come to know through many years of studying and my fascination with all the different signs and how they get along with each other and the compatibility. And as a Libra, that's exactly what it's about. You love relationships. You're an air sign, so you are absolutely a person who sees and understands the world through your perception of your mind, your thoughts, your ideas. You're keenly aware of the differences of things, but you're also very keenly aware of seeing different sides of a similar situation. So you have the ability to be, well, certainly open-minded, but that's not really what the word is, I don't think, or the words. I think what I want to say is you care greatly about being fair, being just, and seeing another person's perspective, basically. I guess it's really that simple. And the other key thing for you, you are the one sign in the zodiac that is not an animal or a person. You are the only inanimate object, which are the scales. And this is absolutely about justice and equilibrium, but also balance. The striving for balance. It's a constant with the Libra. And it is just, it's second nature. It is absolutely just something that's in their DNA. I'm not saying that a Libra is always balanced. I made that really clear on many of my videos. It is the desire and the need, an actual need to find and to have balance in every aspect of a Libra's life. So this is including the well-being of your body, literal balance, making sure, you're not losing your balance and falling or hurting yourself, or balance in your finances, in your relationships, the give and take, the compromise, the just the right amount, and it is just something that, people say, oh, Libras, they're so wishy-washy, they're so indecisive. And I say, as a Libra, with the Sun in Libra, with Mercury, Jupiter, and Mars in Libra, so a fair amount of Libra energy, that, it's true. There are times I'm thinking, wow, what do I want to eat tonight? Well, something really important, right? I can go back and forth. I can think of all the things and reasons why that might be better, and I'm the one cooking it, so do I really want to do that? And do I know enough about it? And do I have all the ingredients? All of those things that go into a decision. But I also have to say, on my own behalf, for all the beautiful Libras out there, that we like to really give it some thought and make sure that whatever our outcome of the decision is that we make, I can promise you it'll be permanent. Once we reach that decision, there's certain times, yes, you may change your mind, but it's not often. It may take a longer period of time than the average sign or other elements, but when it's done, it's done. And believe me, it came with a lot of thought and a lot of consideration, and that's just how it works, in order to make it right and fair for everybody involved. So there you have it. Now, Venus is the ruling planet of Libra, so there is a huge interest in beauty, in, you know, the artistic aspects of life, the creativity aspects of life. I mean, I personally am, and always have been, drawn to music and theater and everything that has to do with art and just the creativity of life. And then, you know, certainly love being friendly, love having friends, love being social, love, you know, being in relationships, connections. All of those are a big part of what makes, I think, a Libra feel holistic and balanced. So perhaps you can relate to this, and I'm sure I'm leaving out things because my readings are only so long, but that's a, for now, that is a basic, you know, kind of outline of what Libras are about. So what I'm going to do, and I just want to go over my format if I may, especially if you're new, and I certainly welcome you, and thanking all of you coming back and your incredible support, your likes, your shares, your subscriptions, because that's helping my channel. And I don't mean to be forceful about it in any way, and I never want anybody to do anything that they don't honestly feel from their heart. I mean, there's no need for that, ever. But I do kindly invite you and encourage you to push that subscribe button if you're liking what you're seeing, you think you might want to come back, because that's how I grow this channel. And I don't know that a lot of people know that. So unless I say that, you know, that's up to me, right? To ask that of you. And just tell you it's extremely supportive, and it's free. It's not, there's no cost, and I love it. I wouldn't be here if it were not for all of you that have done that this far. So anyway, the format. So I will be picking a love connection that Spirit has me pick right in front of you. And yes, I am an intuitive tarot reader for over 30 years, very much more prominent in the last 10, and nothing's going to stop me, and I will do it for as long as I possibly can. And that's my goal, and to grow a beautiful, like-minded, you know, tribe that would like to, that I can always feel is another way, or more or less as a family. So feeling free to leave comments, you know, suggestions, and so forth. But this particular love connection is a love of any particular, all forms, any particular type. It doesn't have to be romantic. It certainly could be, and I'll go into a little more, like I said, about that in a bit. As far as the powerful influences that are affecting you, Libra, you specifically, this is not, it's a general reading because there are many, many Libras in the world, but it's about your energy and what's being provided for you this month, because it ever changes, and it's really kind of exciting in that way alone. And this is one of those times that it's predominantly positive. And so let's see, I'm always interested, before I get into a little bit of the astrology effects that are happening and energy wise. And then of course I will read a card, a tarot divination card for every single week. So we'll have 4 cards for each week of the month. So the fact that it takes me basically 14 or 15 days to do all of my readings is, I like, because it works with my job outside of this job. And then also it is because you get the effects that happen from the latter part of the month on too, because there's so many things that can happen within 1 month. Heaven knows we've had powerful things that happened last month, and we're still kind of feeling them. The retrograde is in the shadow period still until officially the 19th, but it is clearing up, and it has been, and well, it's in Taurus still, but it started in Gemini, and we're in Gemini season, Libra, and that's really very positive for you because that's your fellow air sign. And Saturn did turn retrograde last Saturday, and that's in the sign of Aquarius, and so that's another fellow air sign. And you know, depending on what house it's in, for most people is how it will affect it. And for Libras, it's in our 5th house of love and family and children and fun. You know, I'm just going to put it simply, fun. And so that may feel like it's taken a backseat or it's slowing itself down. Don't have no fear. This retrograde, which happens every year in Saturn, the outer planet, slower moving planet, will be in retrograde through October 22nd. So if you're feeling like, man, I want to spend more time with my family than I do, or I'm not hearing from my friends I love, I'm not doing the things I want to do as much. It's 6 months, you know, it'll be done, I promise. And it doesn't even have to be that intense. In fact, it lightens, in my opinion, when it's retrograde, and it's more of an internalizing for your own sake that maybe you don't even have a conversation about with anybody else. It's just what you're feeling within yourself, which is perfectly okay. You know, you don't have to express everything, right? Something I'm learning. So I'll talk more about that, but let's see who Spirit has in mind. So it could be a person, a situation, somebody you're already very actively involved with, very familiar with, somebody coming in, or just simply the energy that's very prominent for the month of June. And you have Cancer. All right, Libra, you know, I like that a lot. Well, first of all, we're in Gemini season, like I said, and of course, Cancer is a water sign. So this is about, as I said, you're a Libra with an air element, and you're basically that masculine, you know, part of you where you're very much about the mind and, you know, logic and being able to explain everything and understand through your thoughts and educating yourself and learning in successful ways to better yourself and to share that information with others whenever possible, something I think a lot of Libras and air signs do enjoy doing. You know I do with this channel. And also being a cardinal sign, I left that out. Cardinal signs in the zodiac, there are 4, represent the seasons. So Libra, you represent the season of fall, where not mistakenly, of course, it is the season where there's an equal amount of light and dark versus summer where there's a lot more light for the most of it. And then where winter, there's a lot more dark. So there you go again with the balancing and the scales, which is just, everything is so perfectly arranged in our beautiful, you know, universe and in the stars and in astrology, and the science of it all it's phenomenal, really. But in the simplistic way to describe it, Cancer is extremely emotional, watery, ruled by the moon, which controls the tides and the currents and our moods and our emotions. And yeah, I've known a lot of Cancers. I love Cancer. I love everybody. Everybody brings something to the table, and I can respect and appreciate that. And Cancer is no exception. I do have a rising in Pisces, so maybe that's why I've had this connection with the Cancers I have, maybe more than when someone else. But I like this for you as far as the love connection, because it's showing you that you can also bring a lot of your attention in this month and months to come to the heart aspect of you, because of course you have deep emotions, Libra. I know a lot of people say we're detached is the word that's generally used, you know, from our emotions, you know, or seem cold and kind of calculated and so forth. And I would agree in some ways. I remember thinking that about myself as a younger person. I thought, I seem masculine. Honestly, I would say that. And it's because it's what my thoughts are. Well, I have 6 brothers in real life, so I did lose one, unfortunately. But to me, he's still with me. So I thought, well, maybe it's because of this influence I have of being around brothers for the first 10 years of my life before I had a couple of sisters. And so I remember thinking that before I even really, I was involved with astrology at 12, but this is before that. And it's interesting, right? So that equates the masculine energy, which we all have that duality, masculine and feminine. Now remember though, Venus rules the Libras. So that's the epitome of femininity. You know, the most feminine planet that exists in the love and the sensual aspects of life, and the touch and the feel and the intimacy and all the things that our feminine side really, you know, is drawn to. And so, yeah, there is the emotion in you, absolutely. And I feel like when you're around this energy of the beautiful Cancerian energy, it brings it back to life for you. And so and the other thing about Cancer is they're very, very, very interested in their family and those that they are considered a family, you know, the closeness of those they love, they hold very near and dear, and you know, they would take a bullet for them, basically, you know, which I know I too would do. But yeah, that's the real claim to fame for a lot of the Cancers. That is the archetype of the mother, you know. So this is kind of beautiful, but also because we're entering into Cancer season, and Cancer is also a cardinal sign, so there's that commonality there, and they're doers, and they want to start things and initiate. They like being busy, and they like to always do their best job, of course. But Cancer also represents, as a cardinal, the summer solstice. So that's like the day after, which is the 20th, that we enter into Cancer season. So I feel like you're really picking up on the emotional side of yourself regarding your love, your passions, your creativity is reaching an all-time high for you, and it feels great, because I know for myself there are times that I think there's these juices that flow in me that want me to be as creative as I can, and I feel like they get stifled at times. And I know that must just be because of my thoughts, which we can always change. So it might not be happening to you, but maybe some of you can relate to that, because I know even the best artists have what they would call a dry spell. I feel like that's changing, and there's going to be just creativity coming out of your pores, okay? And just this honest desire to love. And it doesn't have to be romantic, like I said, but realizing how potent and important love is as an emotion, as one of the strongest, I would say, persuasive ways to create and manifest that exists. And so I love that. I absolutely love that. And, you know, there's this sense of wanting protection with this Cancer. You know, you want to be all things to all people at times, but you know you need to set boundaries. You know you need to protect yourself first and foremost, and being a person that likes to do and give, as a general rule, Libra, just things to understand and live by. You might also want to be going to the beach more and being around water, and there might be situations where water are involved where maybe the plumbing isn't working for some reason. Not to put on any kind of negative slant, it is part of the understanding under the times of the water signs. I, for one, am actually going to go away for a weekend next weekend to Carmel, which is a beautiful seaside, you know, beautiful area. So I'm able to, it was a gift from my son, and he said, let's make it a tradition. It was a Mother's gift last year, and I hadn't gone away for over 2 years last year. So it's my one getaway I can kind of rely on for a couple days, I guess, and I'm ecstatic. So maybe you two are planning, because I do want to bring up, like I said, the major things happening. We're still feeling the effects of the 2 eclipses that happened. The first was that happened at the very last day of April, was the partial solar eclipse new moon in Taurus. And Taurus is about grounded energy. It's about practical energy. It's about your fellow Venus ruled sign, Libra. The beauty that's important to you, for feeling good, knowing your worth, knowing your value, loving to change things around your home, maybe beautify it a little bit, change things that could be simple, but you know, our homes are a castle, as a Cancer will absolutely, you know, verify for you and stress. So you want to make it look and feel as beautiful and as comfortable as possible. And you might want to just tweak it this time around for the first time in a long time. Like the smallest things that could just really make a difference. Or declutter is a big one too. I know spring is gone, but it's still in the air, and this release aspect, which is the Taurus being this practical aspect, but also, you know, love, beauty, sensuality again, you know, enjoying good food, music, art, all the things that you love are heightened. And these energies can last for months to a year. And then we have the Scorpio. Now Scorpio is right by you on the astrology wheel. And, you know, Scorpio is the water as well. It's a deep, deep transformational, oh, I got my water, speaking of water, transformational energy though with Scorpio. It has its Pluto-ruled influence that is absolutely about digging deep and being overly critical at times, yes, but really deeply truthful about what it is we need in our lives and how we're going to go about getting it, you know, and absolutely making it happen. I'm trying to remember, because I read over these things and then I go to work, and I'm in here now doing this reading, but I feel like there's a huge influence of, what am I trying to say, a trine or conjunction of Jupiter, which is in the sign of Mars. I'm getting to that, I promise. I'm sorry, in the sign of Aries. But today, and I think for tomorrow, or maybe it goes exact tomorrow, there'll be a conjunction of Jupiter and Pluto. So this is expanding our drive and our desire to succeed no matter what, and having the power and the belief and just making it happen. I mean, with everything that we have, and feeling positive about it. It's a positive influence. And bringing in, you know, miracles and unexpected surprises. Gosh, it might have been Uranus. Jupiter and Uranus. I apologize. It's now just clicking in my mind. Because Uranus brings things so unexpectedly and just out of the blue, and it's just like these windfalls or these job opportunities or a change in your health, and just, whoo, such power. And speaking of power, Jupiter went into the sign of Aries, your polar opposite, Libra, on May 10th. And so today makes an absolute full month of it, and it's only building its momentum. It'll remain there through next May, and except for the little time between October 28th and December 20th, I believe, that it goes back into Pisces, which is no slouch for you either, because Pisces is absolutely incredible as far as imagination and creativity and absolute love and compassion. And seeing the world is just feeling so grateful. And maybe having some prophetic dreams and such when that occurs again, if it didn't already. But Jupiter's about, you know, gifts and favor and, you know, opportunities and just luck and all these wonderful things. And that has to do with relationships for you when it's in Aries, because that's what it's about. And you know how much you love that. So if you are in a relationship, and even with the Cancer, maybe you're just thinking, this is the year. I want to make that commitment. I am never going to be completely ready, because, you know, that is the part of us that's like, well, but then there's this and there's that and whatever. But nobody's really ready. So I think you'll make a plunge. You could go just the opposite though too, which is something that everyone might think, oh, why did you say that? Why did you have to bring that up? But I have to say, it could mean you're leaving a relationship or breaking it off, or cutting the cords from a long time that you knew very well. You're very intuitive, you're very insightful, Libra, and you knew, yeah, I can make it work. I mean, not everything's perfect, and all these, you know, excuses you may say, and just because you genuinely love this person, but it's not right, and it will never be right, and there's something better for you, and that's what this can bring about as well. And not to mention that also Mars, which I said earlier, Mars went into Aries, so there's just this fiery kind of motivation and passion and, you know, sexuality with not only the Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, which is very much about sexuality and, you know, other people's money, 8th house, you know, life, death, rebirth, inheritance. I mean, windfalls, maybe something phenomenal is just going to change your life overnight, and you're going to just be like, oh my God, I've got to let Marianne know. Please do. It happens. We hear about it all the time, and it could be you. It could very well be you. It could be me. I'll let you know as well. I'll still be doing readings no matter whatever happens in my life, unless I'm not around to do it, but you get the idea. So I love this, and I say that it's a powerful, beautiful tendency, and it leans to me towards romance, but it could just simply be that beautiful energy you're feeling of the watery element of Cancer. You know, just give it some thought and pay attention to who you may be associating with or who comes into your life. So now what I've been doing for this month, I picked the Tarot divination and the Oracle divination specifically for the sign, because before I'll have one deck and a couple of oracle decks. And definitely the rune. I finished with the rune, so if you want to hang out for that, for no other reason, it's beautiful how it just really, really seems to completely coincide with the reading so far. And I think it's magic, but I know it's spirit helping us and working with us and allowing us to get this information out. So for you, Libras, I'm going to pick this right off the bat. And that'll be the Tarot. And then for the Oracle, I really kind of want to do, I actually did this more recently, but it's still calling out to me right now. And that is the Moon Oracle cards. And then, like I said, I will definitely do the beautiful Oracle of the Rune that I've been fascinated with and interested since the end of the 90s, 97. Now I just want to memorize it so that I can be a very, knowledgeable reader, but I have my flashcards, so it doesn't take away from the knowledge. I just simply need to use those at this time, at this juncture. So what I'm using is the Star Spinner Tarot. It's a beautiful deck. It was a gift, and I haven't brought that out for a while. So let me do a little bit of shuffling, and we'll go through the weeks. And the first week, of course, is gone by, but that's what I like about it. Let's see if it's actually something that you can relate to and you're resonating with right off the bat. If not, don't give up hope. It could very well be coming in. There's no linear time with the messages. Anytime you watch this is good. I do recommend that you watch your sun, which would be Libra, but your moon and your ascendant or rising and even Venus placements. Because there's a lot more to you that meets the eye. It's not just about the sun, but sun is important in Libra especially. That's why you're watching this. So you might be watching or cross-watching, and that's always perfectly okay too. That powerful influence of Mars, though, your partnership, and you're both very different, but also incredible. Well, that's the thing about the polar opposition part. You know how many times people are attracted to each other because the other has something that the other one does not, and they can just fulfill that part of them and just think, okay, cool. And they just help each other out that way. It's a synergy that's really beautiful. So I see it a lot in my readings and, personal studies throughout the years. So the first week coming in for you, beautiful Libras, is, the 7. Let me put on my glasses for heaven's sakes. Where are the glasses? Oh, sorry. The 8 of Swords coming into June. And listen, I'm not gonna kid you for a second. The Mercury Retrograde last month was crazy, especially for technology, and it's known to be that. Certainly transportation, and then always communication. And if that's what your claim to fame is, or you're used to having that with your work, like I do, I have to speak to people to make appointments and, and set up their massage sessions and so forth. And it was just, I keep notes. I do my online appointments, but I also have my trusty, appointment book that I write it in, because if anything were to happen, the technology, and it happens all the time, especially during retrograde, I'd be up a creek. So it was hard. It didn't go very smoothly. I knew that. I know that. I just never know to what degree. So I can understand the 8 of Swords, which is self-inflicted worry and confinement. And yes, things do stop, and we do not have control of everything, and it will stop us from maybe being able to move forward, this Mercury retrograde. But we don't have to let it destroy everything, because, there were other opportunities that came in, and that's the part I love about Mercury retrograde. When you think you're doing one thing and you have it all down, and then all of a sudden, whoa. So because that person rescheduled, I got to meet this new client, and this new client wants to come in every week, and it's a beautiful person, and you get where I'm going with this. It's really pretty beautiful. So the point of the 8 of Swords is that a lot of the confinements and the restrictions we have are in our mind, and how appropriate for us, because the Swords represent the air signs, the Aquarians, the Geminis, and the Libras. And as an air sign, I think we felt it probably more than other signs, except for maybe Virgo, who's ruled by Mercury. So there was some feeling of, oh my gosh, I can't can't move forward. I can't get out of this. And you would be right in some ways, but nah, it's temporary, and the point is that you can very clearly get through these swords. They're in spacious enough for a person to move through. The blindfold, the red blindfold, is obviously not preventing the person from seeing because it's loose and in the air. So I like that as a reminder. I really do, especially how appropriate for you, right, Libra? So you may have come into this month, but I think things are changing. I really believe they are. And Monday and Tuesday of this week, the moon was in Virgo. So for me, I finished some detailed work and everything, which is what Virgo's about. Let's get things going. Let's be practical now. We got the Mercury Retrograde stationed forward last Friday. So we've got, a couple weeks to just let the air clear, and the dust settle and the momentum to come back. And it doesn't mean it's going to be perfecto, but it's definitely happening. And it was for me. And then I believe, would it be Wednesday? Today's Friday. It was when the moon went into Libra. So it's been in your sign, and I think it's going to be going into Scorpio later this evening. But that's good, because when it's in our own sign, we feel like this energy is understandable to us. It's compatible to us because it's us. Might be a little more emotional at times, or more introspective as well. But it's nice to have that, and it is about wanting to get along and to have good relations with people and try to be as, compassionate as possible. And that feels good. It does for me anyway. I love that in life when that happens. And it actually has been happening. So there you go. And Scorpio, going into Scorpio, whoa. That's intense again, but it's also your second house. So you may be coming into some money with this Uranus, Jupiter. It might be Uranus and Pluto, or one of the two. Oh, I think it is Uranus and Pluto. Because they're so diversely different and polar opposites that we've had 3 kind of meetings with that. And one was in, I believe it said April, again in May, and now June, where it's exact by tomorrow. So it's really, really trying to find that balance of our need for freedom and expression and, doing things differently, and not conforming. And then Pluto being, just, if it is Pluto, and I'm pretty sure it is, being very strong, being very, truthful, be willing to transform, be willing to take on those unexpected surprises and just, just go with it. The Fool influence, if you will. So for that, and the second week, which, by the way, the second week is going to be bringing in this incredible energy that I think is going to be very, very beautiful for you, Libra. And that's going to be the full moon, super full moon, strawberry full moon in Sagittarius. Fiery, very, very optimistic, Jupiter-ruled Sagittarius. Freedom, truth-seeking, philosophical, fair, just as well, looking for truth, looking for, that freedom, but also travel. So like I said, I know I'm going away next weekend, and I didn't even know till Mother's Day, so that was last month. But hey, a lot of little vacations coming up. How perfect. You need it, we all need it, and it's time to do it. Okay, so make that happen for yourself if you can, or just planning it would be a beautiful thing. It could be in your mind of where you want to go and the things you plan to do. And you have the King of Cups. It's really interesting though. I'm looking at this and it's just like, it says King of Chalices, and the chalices are the cups. But this is a very intricate and very, I don't remember seeing this before. Anytime you see a king, and that doesn't have to be a male, it just represents the maturation of the situation or person, and it is the leadership qualities that you certainly have. For heaven's sakes, Libra, you're very capable. You're great at, running businesses, managing, having your own businesses. You love partnerships, it's true. And you do well with them most of the time, but it doesn't mean you have to be in one to make things successful for yourself. But I see this King of Chalice, and it's just this there's that emotion again. There's that Scorpio energy still coming through us. It seems almost intense when it comes to your love and your heart and your ideas and your creativity. It's you want to just like burst out there and show the world. You got the purples, that's the third eye, and you know, the connection with source, and the beauty that comes from just, what is it, you know, singing our song and emerging and I don't know, reaching different heights within ourselves and going forward. That's that fiery stuff that I feel with the Aries. So it's interesting as a water sign, but it is you know, being an expert, even a mastery at your craft, because you're the king. You've been there, you've done that, you know how it's done. You can share it and show other people. And you might just be doing that. You might be taking on a role that is more, you know, of a leadership role, is what I'm feeling from that. So moving on to the third week, and that's when we have this beautiful summer solstice. It's hard to even say that right now because it's June. And this is the 6th month, and that, by the way, represents Venus as well. Another reason why it should be quite nice and definitely better than last, and next month will be great too, though. So, and it's not going to be without some stress and things, I'm sure. You just need to find that balance in yourself. Libra, you know this. You know how to do this at this point, or you're wanting to know. And that's half the battle, as it were. So the third week. King of Swords. So you go from the, this is fascinating because I'm reading for you as a Libra, and then we had the Cancer as your love connection. So now we have this King of Chalices, which could very well be Cancer, or Pisces, or, you know, Scorpio. And then we have the King of Swords. So there you are again. So the perfect combination of mind and heart is what really makes for the balance that you strive for so much. And that is a beautiful omen to me that Spirit's trying to let you know about right now. And it's come up more than once. So don't fear, and don't think that you are not capable, or that you are stuck in any way, whether it be through your mind or your heart or your ideas or your creations, because you are surrounded with an energy, and it's filled with possibility and unlimited possibilities. And it's because you're working with the two most important aspects of you, which is your mind and your heart. I mean, that's like so simpatico. So I really, really like that a great deal. And then there is the aspect that is the masculine. Like I said, it is a masculine month with the Aries, for heaven's sakes. Mars, the warrior planet, I mean, of war and, you know, aggression and, you know, conflict, you know, depending on how you handle things, but it's around us nonetheless. We know that. We don't have to take it in now. That's an external part of our lives. So make sure that you realize that too when you feel like you can't get away from it. All you need to do is put your feet in some soil or go hug a tree and just take those deep breaths, have some quiet time, and you're good to go. You're surrounded, and you're definitely surrounded with the protection at all times. I like to ask for it, though. The final week is, of course, the new moon. The new moon that happens on the 28th in Cancer. For you, that's the 10th house, Libras. That is your profession, your people are seeing you, your, you know, your ability to succeed, you know, and what that means to you, because it's going to be different for everybody. But that's a very good time for you to really step it up and maybe concern yourself and work on your finances, which I think has been a concern for a lot of us because of what we hear, and I try to cut that out as much as possible. There's a lot of reasons. I told you I had a lot of changes in my schedule. I would have imagined I was making a certain amount, but I didn't, but then someone else came in, and then this and that. Still would like to build that myself. So I simply trust in the process. But this new moon, you can write down your intentions and magic comes through. It certainly does. And you have the Nine of Swords. Wow. So it's similar to the first one, I'll just say. The Nine of Wands. Oh, it's not the swords. Thank goodness, I'm so sorry. The Nine of Wands. Well, this is just you just taking control, Libra, being pretty much everything to everyone, and maybe overextending yourself. The 9 is generally, you see a person with, you know, like a bandage around their head. They're almost there. It's like the 9 is the last number before the 10, which becomes the new cycle. And transformation is inevitable. It's inevitable for all of us. To what degree it is for you, I can't say, and when it happens exactly, but this Scorpio eclipse, which by the way, there'll be Taurus and Scorpio eclipses through next year. So the same kind of energy coming back at the end of the year, and then another time, I believe, one more time in 2023. Until we get the messages, until we glide ourselves into it in the natural, most organic way, which is what they're about, to teach us and to motivate us and to move us forward. And so you're just at that last part, just around the corner from the new cycle that I see as being incredibly abundant and prosperous and enlightening for you. In my circumstance, it could be about your health. It could be about something you've gone through, as did I. And I'm on the other side of it now. And I waited so long. And I believed it would go away. And I had to have a postponement of a surgery. And you just have to be patient, and you have to heal, and you have to believe. And that's where I am. You know, I took on a lot. I pushed through. I never, ever gave up. I never believed that I couldn't eventually get to where I remembered myself, and a semblance of what I had remembered myself being, certainly mobility-wise. And it happens. It is magic. It is what we're here for. It's what we all deserve. And I see this as being something that you want to overcome. This last obstacle, man. You're almost there. Please don't give up, Libra. The yellow represents the solar plexus and the strength and the power that we have. And that's going to come from the Aries influence too. Woo! And Mars, of course. And there's always going to be that close connection to you. So Jupiter is in our favor. It works for us, okay? It wants to work for us. And I absolutely love this reading. I really do. And it's completely different. I haven't pulled anything similar to my other readings. I love the whole inference of this, the heart and the mind, though. And always finding that balance. So I'm going to pick the oracle for you, which happens to do with the phases of the moon, because they're pretty pertinent, I think, for you every year. But I feel like right now, with what I've explained about the eclipses, and their moons on steroids, right? And how it will affect you. It's going to be very transformational. So open your eyes and your heart to that. Just say, okay, yeah, I know what I'd like, and that's what I anticipate. I anticipate miracles, and I anticipate it being a positive transformation. So the moon to concern yourself with and to be aware of, that Spirit wants you to know about, Libra, is the... I love this. Balance, spirituality, and practicality. There's your omen, the balance, Libra. Full moon in Pisces. So if you have any Pisces placements, you know, Jupiter was in Pisces, and what a beautiful time. My God, that was during my surgery time. It's all about healing and releasing. There's no boundaries with Pisces. Sky's the limit. I mean, whatever you can imagine can be. And that's the way Pisces has always believed. They're just other souls. They're like, you know, very spiritual, very gifted, very in tune, very psychic, and all those beautiful things. So the full moon in Pisces. Something at this full moon. Did we have a full moon? Because we had a new moon. It was on the 2nd of March because my surgery was the 3rd. Whoo! And we have Jupiter coming back into Pisces. So let me, without looking, we only get one new moon and one full moon in our signs. So, ooh, I believe the full moon is going to be in Pisces. It's 6 months away from the new moon. So it was in March. Well, you can kind of just sort of take note of that, okay? Because I feel like there's a very important message here. And then at the latter part of October, we've got Jupiter going back in there. So make note, okay? There's something very powerful coming through, and it's going to be, I don't know, it could be an epiphany, it could just be a dream, like I said, or it could just be your artistry and your creativity is just expanding in ways you never thought possible. That's what this makes me think of. Now, but keeping the balance between the practical side, which is that Taurus energy that we had, and the spirituality side, which I would also attune, even though it says Pisces, to any water sign, you know, whether it be Cancer or Scorpio, and the influence of the full moon in Scorpio lunar eclipse. Wow. I love it. I really do. And definitely heart center when it comes to Pisces, boy. There's a lot of heart here. And you love to love. I know that about you, Libras. So let me finish with your rune, if I may. And I'll just put this in here quickly. On the other side is the new moon in Taurus. That was the first eclipse. So yeah, there's some real synchronicities here, but let's see how synchronistic this beautiful rune is for you. So I will shake the bag and pull out the one that's meant for you for June. And you have, oh, okay. So, I wish I could tell you I remembered this one, but it reminds me of this. My uncle was a priest for over 70 years, and, you know, he'd have the purple sash. And there was, it looks like a fish to me, is what I'm wanting to say. And here we have the Pisces influence, the Cancer. So, but it's a letter. And so I will find out for you what that means. Can I think of it? Can I intuitively come up with it? Because I'm not getting anything right now. And a lot of times they look nothing like the actual, you know, what would I call that? Glyph. So let's find that on the outside here of my flashcards and see. Here it is. Okay. Oh, I really want to remember though. Othala. Now, the only thing I can think for me, and I mean, you know, this is about me memorizing it, but is this little center in here would be an O, which it doesn't look like at all, but I have to have some kind of association. Othala is the way you pronunciate, I can't even say pronunciation. Othala. It's rune number 23, and that is a 5, and 5 is challenge. It is getting through the challenge. It is change, and sometimes rapid change. And we've already mentioned the transformation that's due and coming, each and every one of us, and you're no exception. The theme is inheritance. Okay, I honestly just got goosebumps that went down my knee to my shin, because I mentioned inheritance in the influence of the Scorpio eclipse, full moon eclipse, which will last for months. It seems as though there's an inheritance of some kind of legacy, property, birthright, ancestral home, generations, and for a certain amount of you, that's going to become a reality. I don't know for myself. I mean, it's possible in a distant way, but I don't know that for myself at all. And magical working, strengthening family bonds, acquisition of wealth, assuming leadership, which we absolutely brought up more than once with the king and the representation of the crowns and being in control and, you know, and mature and understanding, you know, how to handle and how to deal with people. Guarding one's clan. And the key phrases, I'm so sorry, phrases, legacy of past generations, birthright, long-term wealth and holdings, real estate, family traditions and heritage, benefits passed on through generations. Ooh. So I don't know, it's maybe something that's coming through by this full moon in Pisces. The thing about, as I said, Pisces is the spiritual nature that they don't even, they're like of another world. So what we may seem as practical, you know, they're just realizing it's just what it is. It's all encompassing. It's all part of everything. So I just thought I'd bring that up. Somehow that came through as a message, but I hope you enjoyed your reading. And if you don't resonate with it right now, just give it some time, because things are happening. They are absolutely happening, if they haven't already. I mean, I wouldn't put it past you Libras to have already experienced some of this and to have dreamt some of these things and all the other mentions that I had said. But the idea is to have a beautiful month, to take good care of yourself, to allow yourself to love and to relax and to balance your life, and to, you know, just embrace it all, every breath. So thank you again. I would love to have you come back, and I'll be here for you for July, okay? Until next time, bye for now.